How you doing today? It's going to be my second episode of City Skylines. Now if you watched the first episode, then you might notice there may be a little more progress here than there was, and that's because I decided to can about 5 minutes of recording of my first attempt at making the second episode, just because I noticed the landscapers were outside yesterday with their leaf blowers and whatever, so I just decided the quality was too bad on that. So I just stopped, and then I made the mistake of saving it instead of just exiting right away, so but you didn't miss much though. Basically all I did was just added these like 5 houses there. Now I did reach a population milestone down here. Got to the 360 population, which means the landfill, elementary school, and medical clinic, basically medical education and garbage, has now become a responsibility I need to take care of. And thus you see these symbols showing up telling me their garbage is overflowing. So that is something you do have to try and kind of take care of as soon as possible. I mean, a lot of those things you can kind of get away with just not really worrying about too much for a while, but garbage, that's one you do have to kind of get on that. Now for this, I generally I have some mods that take care of that better. I mean, the regular landfill site's okay for a while, but they tend to fill up rather quickly, and before you know it, you've got 10 of the damn things piled up around somewhere. So, the small recycling depot, that's something that I like to use, just because that doesn't store the waste forever, that it'll process it. And I have a larger one here I could use, but I don't think that'll be necessary. Basically operates at the same premise though as the landfill. It sends out dump trucks, collects it, except it processes it, burns it, whatever they do with it. So it's a little bit more efficient than a landfill site. They don't just keep storing it up forever. Because I believe normally in the vanilla game, you just have to use landfill sites until you get the incinerator, that's you have to wait quite a while before that becomes available. By the time you get that, you have to have quite a few landfill sites. It gets to be an annoyance having to have that many. So once the garbage trucks, they make their way around, they'll take care of that. So I don't know if I want to use the medical and education stuff right now, not until I make a little bit more surplus of money, or until people start getting sick. Now, that is one thing, is if that trash doesn't get taken care of quick enough, people will start to get sick, but I don't think we'll have any problems with that. For now, I just need to focus. Looks like pretty much all our demand has gone to industrial. So let's make some more industrial. Make some a little bit bigger ones on the side of the street. Yeah, alright, then let me double check. Yeah, looks like my water coverage will cover all of that out there for a ways. Probably should extend this out here though, but I won't do that right now. Getting a little bit of commercial demand. Speed this up a little bit. periodically you see a bunch of smoke comes up there because apparently they burn it. That's how they recycle it. That's what it looks like. That's what they're calling recycling. Which is fine with me as long as they get rid of it. Okay, so that moved us up to almost a 300. We are up to 300 surplus per week now, and looks like it's still rising. Still got a considerable industrial demand, but in any case, looks like we'll probably go ahead and add a medical clinic here pretty quick. Most of the time when I play this game, I usually go through the whole thing with just on regular speed, but for the sake of keeping things moving at a little bit quicker pace on this video, I'll probably keep, for the most part, in a little bit of an accelerated pace. Let's see, got water coverage there. Although that is one thing that you should keep in mind if you do like I did and start out with dirt roads everywhere. Now I think if you try and upgrade to a bigger roads, and I think that means it tears pretty much everything down along the road, and it basically takes an extra slot away from whatever's currently built. So I think everything, whatever's there, gets tore down. Let's see if I wanted to upgrade. Well, unless it wasn't something I was intending to do just yet, but honestly, let's just go ahead and see what happens along. Let's just use this section of road. Okay, I guess for that kind of road, I guess it's not a problem. It's actually interesting, because that's not necessarily saying it's going to tear anything down, but I guess as long as it's just a 2-lane road, I guess that's only if I upgraded. Okay, yeah, so if I upgraded to that, then yeah, it would have to tear it down, but as long as I keep it to a 2-lane road, then it doesn't look like you'll have any problems. Well, now actually that might change if you go to the fancier roads. I don't think I have any of them available yet that have trees or decorations and stuff like that running along the side. Then that might change, because that takes up a lot more room if you've got trees or whatever decorating the side. Yeah, right. Well, I've got a 500 per week bonus or surplus in money, so we should be making money relatively quickly at this point. Still doing okay for now, but I should add some more fairly soon here. And let's go ahead and add the medical clinic. Now this is another area where I tend to use mods a bit, because I believe this is the generic one here, which would cost me 10,000 and 400 per week. Then where I can use this one, it's just an initial cost of 5,000 and only 160 per week. I think patient capacity is much lower, but for a town this small, I mean, that's not a big deal really. stick it in right there. Yeah, I mean, for a town this size, don't necessarily, probably not going to need 100 patient capacity. I think that's, let me double check, what is it, 100 per week? Yeah, you know what, it doesn't say what the capacity, what time frame that capacity is, so, but 100, that should be fine. And I believe this only supports 2 ambulances. I think if I actually click on, no, it says one of 3, so it actually has a 3 ambulance capacity, so that's pretty good for how small my town is. And it looks like I will have to build some more roads here pretty quick. At least for my residential, I've got a little bit of room left on my industrial areas. Alright, let's go ahead and start adding some road here. Oops, don't want to upgrade road. Water coverage. And we need some roads out here for some added residential room as well. Yeah, right, need to add a little bit of water out there. Yeah, let's go from there. Oops. And we've got some more commercial cropping up as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a larger commercial lot. Alright, let me check out if I can find it. Advisor. Yeah, here it is. Check out some of my budgets and things like that. See what's making money. So my income looks like it's making about 400 on my commercial, a little over 800 from residential, 500 from industrial. And I don't have any, what's that, offices. That's what that one is, but I don't have any offices, and I have to get a little bit higher level before that shows up. And let's see. Now you can increase your budget for power, water, trash, whatever, and that will get a little bit more out of your current infrastructure if you don't want to build any more. So that is one way of increasing these things without actually building more stuff. So total income of a little over 1,000. Now I'm a little under 2,000 per week. My expenses are just slightly over 1,200, so I'm making surplus of 677. That's pretty good. And then you can get loans. I don't have any loans right now. I don't need any. I'm usually pretty good at getting my town self-sufficient early on and not having to worry about that stuff. Let's see, let me check this out. Look at city statistics. Alright, here we go. Now, and that is one thing that I kind of wanted to note, and I think I mentioned in my first video, is that your commercial zone, those usually are the most profitable per building, because I have a considerably more industrial and way more residential, and yet in my budget there I was actually making almost as much as the industrial, and I think I was making about half as much as what the residential was making, but it looks like I have over a 500 mark in residential, and my commercial is all the way down here at like 68. That's what's in commercial, and yet it makes like half as much income already. So trying to make sure you're keeping up with your commercial demand, that's very good for profitability. And that's one of the excellent marks of the graphics in this game, as you can see how the textures and things change during the rain. Like on the pavement, you can even kind of almost see like the rippling on the roads. Well, you actually, even on the dirt, you can see it a little bit, but not as well, though. The rooftops, it's probably a little bit more noticeable just because you're closer. And well, we've got a lot of, still got some commercial, but a lot of industrial demand is showing up. So far, looks like I've got demand pretty well under control, at least after I get this stuff built. So we'll have some pretty good sized facilities show up down here. you know what, with that, now I still don't have the ability to do districts. So I'll talk more about districts once I get the ability, but I have to get to 750 population before I can make districts, so I won't worry about it right now. Wow. Commercial demand spiking way up. And honestly, that's kind of rare. It seems like it's kind of hard to get a lot of commercial demand. As a matter of fact, I really need to build some more space for it. Where I built my roads for a second there. Once again, I forgot to set my timer to keep track of how long this video is. Well, just have to wing it, I guess, and take a guess at how long I've been playing. Let me see, I think it was about 10 after 11 when I started this. Alright, so I'm going to set my timer up real quick here. Alright, so this video is probably going to end up going a little longer than what I typically do. Unless I misjudged that, but I think I'd probably rather go a little bit long than short on my videos. And as you can see here, I mean, progress, it goes, well, in my opinion, this is going relatively quickly. Although, as I said, I usually never use accelerated time in this. I don't know, this is a game that I tend to play when I'm kind of half doing other things at the same time, while I'm eating and things like that. I forgot, I need to keep up with my power. Yep, I'm running out of power. What am I using to get power currently? I think I'm just using those little portable trailers still. Do I want to actually make a plant? That would use $20,000 almost, which would be the better part of my budget. I probably could do that, but I think for now I am just going to keep using these little portable things. get me that much over. How much power does that make it? It only gives me 5 power. I actually should use one of these. Though, I think it's better if this has a road connection, so we'll put it over here. Industrial. Okay, so that gives me plenty of power to play with for a little while. But yeah, this is a game, it's more of a relaxed game that you don't have to spend every second watching it, or else things are going to go to hell in a handbasket. I mean, this game, you usually don't have that much trouble with it. Matter of fact, sometimes I'll mess around with something on my PS4 or something at the same time while I have this running on the PC. It's very good for things like that. Let me see, we've got the 600 population, so we're doing pretty well there. Yeah, that's right. The people want schools. Well, I suppose I've got the money. I probably should go ahead and do that. Make the little peoples happy. Obviously, the schooling areas, you probably want to build more in the residential area. I usually go with that. Old-fashioned style church school. Though that cost me $20,000 too, though, honestly. Now, another thing about those is they don't have that much capacity, though. I think only 50 capacity at a time, though I only have like 40 eligible, so that's fine for now. And what you can do if you want to go really cheap, you have the little scout hut here for 3,000, which has a 28 capacity, which honestly that's really, I probably should have just built one of those instead of going with a $20,000 church, but oh well, that'll see my capacity up for a little while. It does look like we need more residential though. I mean, and this basically is the style of game. Basically, build residential to fuel your industrial, to fuel your commercial, so we can fuel more residential, and it's just a circle that just never ends, basically. It's really pretty much the whole point of the game is seeing how much you can grow it and manage it. Now, see, what's going to get interesting once this town gets big enough is how this traffic system works. Because it's okay for now, just because I've got such a light traffic demand, but this will get pretty clogged up once I start getting heavy traffic. And honestly, I kind of did that on purpose, just to see what it looks like once it gets high enough traffic going through here. don't remember. I forget if I mentioned, but that church that comes through a mod. That's not a vanilla game. And then if you didn't see my first video, you can see all the mods that I'm using. I put that in. I listed through there at the very end of the first video on that. I scroll through everything I'm currently using, and I haven't added anything since then, so that'll be the whole list. Looks like demand really hasn't shrunk at all. Of course, and if you want to go with what probably would be a little bit more realistic for a town just starting out, you could just start like everything up until this point, these little small squares, and have these little trailers, and have it look like Welton did out here by Yuma, Arizona. I remember Welton used to be just a little RV town looking thing. I don't know what it looks like now. I haven't been by there actually, I guess I must have went by there like a year ago, because I did go to Phoenix not that long ago. It's probably been a year, a little over a year, but I forget what it looked like. I know it used to be almost nothing but a little trailer park. It looked like a trailer park. That's what the town of Welton looked like, basically. I think it's probably a little bit more established now than it used to be. And honestly, it is one thing I've noticed about this game is I don't think the vanilla game, as far as, unless they've added something in recently that I haven't noticed, it doesn't come with any desert maps. I mean, you can find some desert maps on Steam Workshop, but I've noticed, they're all a lot smaller than what this is. I mean, you don't get near as much build area. I mean, you don't get near as big of a surrounding area to work with in that. So I haven't really used any of those. I think I tried a couple of them, and when I realized how much smaller the build area was, I just decided, man, not use them. Still got some residential, but I need to kick up the commercial and industrial, it looks like. But I might as well just add this in right now. And then some road extension out here as well. Once I'll probably fill this area out with more commercial, and I'm probably going to build another commercial area out here. Oh, I made it 750. Alrighty, so that gives me, okay, so now I will have the ability to do districts, so I'll probably try and show you that real quick before I end this video, because I've got to be coming up here pretty quick on my timer. And so now I have police and fire department responsibilities. You know what, let me do that rather quickly, because the fire department, you have to take that rather seriously as soon as it becomes available, because sometimes that can become a problem, and it's usually mostly in your industrial areas, but fires, they will crop up anywhere. Now this little bitty thing I'm using, this is a mod, which is a bit less expensive than the vanilla. Like that thing costs $12,000 just for one, and this only costs $2,000. Now, the thing is, this only has a single fire truck per building, whereas this would have 6. So you got to keep that in mind. But I mean, if you build 2 or 3 of these, this will probably keep you covered for a little while anyway. Like for now, yeah, let's just start off with 3. Let's build it out here. And let me also check, like the upkeep on that is 112. So you can basically, that's what, like 4 or 5 of these for the same cost as it would upkeep one of these ones. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's about worth it. Now, one thing is, with these little stations, they will continue to show red pretty much everywhere because they have a very small sphere of influence, but they will still respond to fires wherever they are. We'll build one little police station for now. That'll have to do. Too worried about that. It's not near as big of a emergency anyway if you do get a few criminals. As long as the whole city don't burn down. And you know what, actually let's go commercial. That's actually got more demand there. Although that is one thing about this game, is if something catches on fire, it doesn't automatically jump from one building to another to another. You don't really have to worry about the whole frickin' town burning down. Alright, that's the timer. So let me just real quickly go over the districts. Now, using this painter, I can make a district. Like, let's say I want to cover my residential and call that a district. So as soon as you release the mouse, it'll automatically name it. Now you can deselect it, the painter there, and then you can select the name and click on it, and you can select your own name for the district, and you can even change policies per individual district. Like, let's say I want to create a district out here. And now go to specializations, and I can make that a farming specialization. And for now, I think it's farming and forestry are the only specializations I have. Like, if you don't select any of one of those and you make a district, any industry will automatically be your generic industry. Like, let's make a quick district. Oops. Let's just make that its own district. And then let's make the commercial area its own district. Now, if you just click inside a current district and then drag, then that'll automatically just expand the current district. It won't make a new one. Just make sure you're inside the district you want to expand. And then I probably will rename these later, but I'm not going to worry about it now. Alrighty. Oh, you know what? I guess it automatically slowed down time when I made the, got the achievement there. So, alright, I think that's been a successful second episode for City Skylines. Well, I'll call it a day on that. I'm getting pretty hungry anyway. I'll see you later.